Warhorse Studios returns with a follow-up to its 2018 RPG hit, removing much of the jank and bugs to let you more immersively roleplay as a knight in medieval Bohemia. Much like the 2018 original, this is a medieval RPG sequel that asks a lot of you in the hopes of delivering some semblance of historical accuracy. Yet its incredibly involved nature is exactly what makes this bigger, wider version of 15th century Bohemia an engrossing snapshot of time to exist in. Now without much of the jank seen the first time around, this second outing is the grand achievement Warhorse Studios always intended it to be. Get it. Picking up directly following the events of the last game, you once again inhabit the shoes of Henry of Skalitz, a humble blacksmith turned right-hand man to the young Lord Hans Capon. It isn't long before all of his achievements from the first game are quite literally beaten out of him, however, leaving the field wide open for Henry to, in a sense, power himself up again in true video game fashion. How you go about doing this is almost entirely up to you, whether it's by making a habit of stealing your clothing and other necessities, engaging in bar fights at the local pub, or maybe offering your services to a miller who may take you on as an apprentice if you do a good job. One of the best things about Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is the way it makes every opportunity feel like one made of your own volition, despite this very much being a game where you play a pre-established character. The world of medieval Bohemia itself, and more specifically the two maps of Trotsky and Kuttenberg that make it up, easily forms much of this sequel's much grander appeal too. Although made up of a lot of similar farm and grassland, the marked step up in graphical fidelity makes this more open Bohemian sandbox an easy one to get lost in. Every so often you're afforded the chance to step into a built-up city, knuckling down with both peasants and royalty alike to experience the true grit and griminess of the era. It's in such locations where the hustle and bustle of the period truly comes to life, as swathes of NPC dialogue further ground you into current events. You never know what micro stories you'll hear offhand. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 might not tout the glamour of more fantastical RPGs like Dragon Age or Elder Scrolls, but it's hard to complain with this much attention to detail packed into every corner of both maps. Layered on top of this more immersive setting is a raft of refined systems that help further improve aspects to the game's inherently interwoven nature. Combat, for example, has been simplified a tad by letting you slash and swipe in 4 directions rather than 5, with a straightforward stab being reserved for the 4th and final directional option. I can't say that I ever grew to truly love Kingdom Come Deliverance 2's swordplay as much as rival RPGs that make scrapes their main focus, but it's an effective, if slightly awkward way to tackle brawls from a first-person perspective. The expanded crime and reputation system is a lot more successful by comparison, since NPCs are a lot more perceptive of your actions, sometimes to a fault. Countless times during my playthrough did I regret knocking out a certain character or stealing their supplies only for the consequences of my actions to bite me in the ass later on. I know a major point of contention in the original Kingdom Come Deliverance was how saving was handled, and I'm remiss to report that it's back here again in full force. Because while sleeping in certain beds will regain your health and save the game, more often than not it's a brew called Save Your Snaps you'll be relying on to save progress at will. Much of the time, the sequel's tendency to save at certain critical story beats has your back, but there were more than a few instances where I backed myself into an annoying corner, forced to repeat the same series of events because of my inability to save freely. A checkpoint automatically saving at a time where I was caught trespassing meant it took me an hour to get out of it, for example, rather than the 10 minutes it should have. You'd think that such increased scope might mean more inevitable bugs. However, I can comfortably say that, the odd guard glitching through their horse notwithstanding, the bulk of my time playing through Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 was incredibly polished compared to its predecessor. A lack of bugs is important for any open world game, of course, but doubly so in a medieval RPG such as this, where immersion is very clearly the main goal. Managing factors such as health, hunger, and tiredness is cumbersome, but never became annoying as a result. In fact, once I gave myself fully to the type of involved and immersive experience that Henry's follow-up tale is intended to be in this way, I never wanted it to let me go. In terms of the narrative, there are personal stakes for Henry at play that stretch back to events in the first game and his relationship to his deceased father, most of which occur against the background backdrop of the wider socio-political events and unrest taking place in the region. In other RPGs, I'd find the main character's core drive being relegated to the background to be quite a poor decision, but the honest truth is that in my dozens of hours of playing, it was always the side stories revolving around Bohemia's population that kept me invested much more than any grand battle. How Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 allowed me to insert my Henry into such situations almost always ended up being surprising and at the very least entertaining to see play out. In whatever way you look at it, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is a remarkable achievement. Taking place within one of the best realised, most immersive video game settings I've ever had the pleasure to explore, I commend Warhorse Studios for sticking to its guns. Sure, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is very much an extension of what came before, and the odd mechanic or system can still annoy, but I find these easy to forgive given how rarely I bumped into them and all the ways I was able to roleplay Henry as a peasant, apprentice, imbecile, soldier, and friend. We at the Mirror Gaming give Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 a 5 out of 5. Do you plan on picking this one up? Be sure to let me know in the comment section below, and consider subscribing if you enjoyed it. Until next time, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.